Hi, welcome to Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video lesson, we're going to be talking about this book right here, Rock Guitar 101. And we're kind of a continuance of this. In the last video we talked about lesson 3, which was about tuning up and playing your open power chords, and hopefully you have that by now. And if you don't, just let me know and I'll help you out with that. And so now we are to lesson 4, okay? And this is just a beginner starter book. Kind of get you started with the right tools, get through the fundamentals so that you can get going further from there, okay? So we're now at lesson 4, creating rhythm and closed power chords, and that's what we're going to take a look at now. All right, so let's take a look.
Audio Jungle.
This, okay? Now, when we discussed in our last lesson, open chords right here. Okay, open E, open A, open D. Okay. Alright. Now what we want to do is we want to work at bringing this finger into play now. So that we're playing 2 strings. Okay. And it's a bit of a stretch to bring that finger out. Okay, but it's just something you got to do, and I usually tuck my elbow in. You see how my arm's coming in like this? And what that does is allows that finger to come up like that. You see that? So if my elbow's out here, I can't get that finger up. So by bringing it in like this, see how my finger is able to come up like that? So that's what you want to do, is bring your elbow in if you can. And this is going to probably seem a little uncomfortable at first, but if you get this, this will unlock a whole lot of mysteries to the fretboard, okay? And what's great about this chord, the power chord, I call it the closed power chord because we don't play a string open anymore. So now we're going to cover that string. Okay, so basically we're now on 2 strings with the fret in between. Okay, this one's off and so is this. So these 2 fingers here are off the fretboard and we're just playing these 2 right here. Okay. Now, like I said, it is a bit of a stretch, and usually what I'll do is I'll take my thumb and try to have it like around right here, and then just have the guitar sit right there, okay? Everybody plays a little different, so you got to kind of try to figure out what's best for you, okay? So, what you do, if you start off with that open E, that's actually a good place to start. Then you can just take your 3rd finger, your ring finger, and put it on the 4th string, 4th fret. And now you've got this, a 2 and a 4. This is actually a B, closed B power chord. And what's great about these chords is what you want to do is kind of move it up and down the fretboard like this. And what's great about this chord is it never changes shape. It stays the same shape, which is great. It makes it simple, okay? Some of the other chords, like our natural chords we'll be learning later, those change shape and stuff. And it's a little harder to get them formed. You got to form them and move them around. They're really tough. These are a little bit easier because once you just form the chord, then you just move it up and down the fretboard like this. Now let's say we go to our open A chord, and we do the same thing here. Now we have a closed power chord off our D string. That's going to be an E power chord because this is an E note. We can talk about that later. But anyway, we're just basically trying to get this chord down, this chord shape, and move it up and down the fretboard. That's all we want to do for right now. And move it on different strings. Okay, move it on the 6th string. That's what we want to do right there. And as before, we want to just pick the 2 strings like we did in the last lesson and just get used to moving this up and down the fretboard. Just move it around. See how and you always want to make sure that you have a fret in between, because if your finger starts to do this, as you can hear, that don't sound right. It sounds terrible. And the reason is, so if you hear that you need to take your finger and move it over, okay? Now I know I make this look easy because I've been doing it a long time, and when you start to try to do it, your finger is going to want to tend to do this because it's hard to get it stretched, okay? And if you start hearing that, just move your finger over, or if this finger starts coming like this, move it over. Gotta get it stretched, okay? It's tricky, okay? But it can be done. You just gotta work at it, alright? And then when your fingers get tired and your hand starts to get a little cramped up, then go back to your open chords, okay? With the one finger. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be building our foundation one finger at a time. We play chords with just one finger, then we learn to play chords with two fingers. Then once we have that down, we'll learn to play chords with three fingers and then all four fingers, okay? So in this lesson, once again, just moving the power chords, okay? And then the second part of this lesson is about creating rhythm, okay? So once you have the power chord down, then what you want to do is create rhythm with it, you know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one type of rhythm. Or you could go have an and in there and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's going to create a little bit of a different rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See, we just created a rhythm right there just because of those timing, okay? Or we could go 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we can even change the chord on a particular beat, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So all kinds of different things that you can do with this. You just have to practice and experiment with it, okay? You can put the and after each note, or you could put the and in specific purposes. You could say 1, 2 and 3, 4, or you could say 1, 2, 3 and 4, or you could say 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's all kinds of different combinations. You just got to think of your combinations. And then moving the chords, creating your rhythms. One, two, three, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, there's all kinds of different things you could do. It's really endless. I can make this video 20 minutes just on this alone. But it's a lot of it's just basic, fundamental experimentation, okay? So, without making this lesson too long, what have we talked about? Number 1, the chord, power chord, 2 notes, 2 fingers on 2 strings and a fret in between, okay? And once you get that, then when you want to practice moving it like this, and when you move it, make sure it always stays that same shape. 2 fingers on 2 strings, fret in between. Then once you get it down on 1 string, moving it down and up the fretboard, then try to move it on a different string. You know, 6th string, 5th string, 4th string, okay? Then you can try to move it from, pick a fret. Say, okay, I'm going to try to go from fret 3 to fret 6. And as you work with this chord and you work with these different things, you're going to start to hear different song progressions, okay? You know? That was a good example of using the closed and the open power chords, okay? You know? Now notice how I just played that. I moved it around the fretboard, but I kept the shape the same. That's what you want to do, is make sure you keep that shape the same, okay? And work on your rhythm, your timing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Put that and in there and then try to make some different combinations, alright? Okay, so there we have it. Lesson 4 in the book Rock Guitar 101, creating rhythm and closed power chords, okay? So work on that, work on spreading your fingers out. I know it can be a bit of a challenge to do that, and a little bit cramps up. Your hands cramp up, shake it out. You know, take a break for a little while and then come back and try it again. And after a while, you'll see your hands will be able to do it. And then you got to move it up and down the fretboard. So first of all, you got to form the chord and then move it up and down the fretboard, okay? And in the book, I give you a picture of what it's supposed to look like right there. And then I also give you an additional training guide in here to a YouTube video, so you could check that link out. And then also some diagrams of what the chords should look like right here, okay? And that's very important, so that way you kind of learn how to read what it's going to look like in the tablature format, so that way when you start to learn songs, you can understand what you're reading. It's very important, okay? So very, very important. And like I said, with creating rhythm, okay, there's also different types of counts, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there's actually a 1E and a 2E and things like that. But you just want to look at your combinations. Take them in combinations and work on that, and you'll create some really neat rhythms. And as you move those chords around the fretboard, you're going to see very clearly, you're going to hear, you know, bits and pieces of songs that you know, because this is how rock songs are played, with these types of chords. So if you learn these chords and you learn to move them up and down the fretboard and move from string to string, you're going to hear these stuff. You're going to hear some of your songs that you know. Trust me, you're going to hear little guitar riffs and stuff. Say, hey, I know that. And that's when it really starts getting fun, okay? And then in lesson 5, our next lesson, we're going to talk about picking hand development, okay? And that's going to really help you out as well, all right? So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Be sure to check out my website at DwaynesGuitarLessons.com, where I have a lot of great training material there, all kinds of great free lessons for all kinds of stuff on guitar, and I got some good video tutorials on there. And be sure to check out my Dwayne's Guitar Club. That's through the email, and subscribe to the channel and click the bell for future notifications. And if you have any questions, feel sure to leave them in the comments below. And until our next lesson, you, my friend, take care.